Hello and welcome to my channel, Hopewell Stories. What are the odds of meeting the love of your life when you're just 2 years old and then finding them again 20 years later? But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is now, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It sounds like a fairy tale. But for Amal and Karim, it was real. Their story began in a dusty refugee camp in eastern Jordan near the border with Syria. The year was 2006. War had torn their families from their homes. Amal's village was destroyed by bombing. Karim's father was killed trying to protect their home. Both families fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the hope of safety. The camp was crowded, rows of white tents under a burning sun. Water was scarce. Food came once a day. But in that harsh place, something beautiful happened. Amal was 2.5, with big brown eyes and a shy smile. Karim was just a few months older, with curly hair and a laugh that made others smile. They met near a water truck, where children often played while their parents waited in line. No one knows who spoke first. Maybe Amal pointed at Karim's red ball. Maybe Karim offered her a piece of bread. But from that moment, they were inseparable. They didn't speak the same dialect, but it didn't matter. They played with sticks in the dirt, chased chickens, and shared stories through gestures and giggles. At nap time, they sat side by side under a tree, leaning on each other like tiny soldiers resting after battle. A camp worker named Fatima noticed them. "They're like two halves of one heart," she said, smiling. She took a photo with her old phone. Amal and Karim, covered in dust, holding hands, grinning. But life in the camp was temporary. After 2 years, Amal's family was resettled in Germany. Karim's family moved to Canada. The children didn't understand what was happening. One day they were playing. The next, they were gone. Amal cried for days. Karim asked everyone, "Where is the girl with the quiet voice?" They grew up thousands of miles apart. Amal learned German, studied nursing, and helped her mother care for her younger brothers. She never forgot the boy with the red ball. Sometimes, she'd draw his face in her notebook. Karim grew tall and strong. He played soccer, loved music, and volunteered at a community center. He kept that old photo Fatima had sent, printed and taped inside his school binder. One day he told his friends, "I'll find her." Years passed. The world moved on, but something deep inside them both stayed connected to that dusty camp, to that moment, to each other. Then in 2023, something changed. Amal was visiting family in Toronto for a cousin's wedding. She wasn't planning to stay long, just 10 days. Karim lived there. He was studying engineering at the university. By chance, Amal's cousin invited a friend to the wedding. That friend knew Karim, and Karim, curious about the Syrian girl visiting from Germany, decided to come. The wedding was held in a garden under fairy lights. Music played. People danced. Amal stood near the dessert table, sipping lemonade. Then she saw him, tall, with kind eyes, and a familiar smile. Her heart stopped. He saw her too. They didn't run. They didn't shout. They just walked slowly toward each other, like they were afraid the moment would break. "Amal," Karim whispered. She nodded, tears in her eyes. "Karim." They hugged. Not like strangers, not like people meeting for the first time, like two pieces of a puzzle finally clicking into place. They talked all night. They remembered the water truck, the red ball, the tree where they napped, Fatima, the photo. "I kept your picture," Karim said. "I dreamed about you," Amal replied. They couldn't believe it. After 18 years, thousands of miles, wars, losses, new lives. And yet here they were. Over the next few weeks, they met every day, coffee, walks in the park, long talks about family, dreams, fears. They discovered they both loved old movies, spicy food, and quiet mornings. They laughed at how similar they were, both stubborn, both kind, both afraid of thunderstorms. It wasn't instant romance. It was deeper. It felt like remembering. 6 months later, Karim knelt in that same garden where they'd reunited. "Amal," he said, "we met when we were too young to understand love, but I think we've been loving each other all our lives." She said yes. Their wedding was small but full of joy. Fatima flew in from Jordan. She held the old photo in her hand, now faded but still precious. When the priest asked, "Who gives this woman to be married?" Amal's father smiled and said, "No one. She found her own way back." At the reception they danced to a song that didn't exist when they were toddlers, a modern tune. But it didn't matter. What mattered was the look in their eyes. The peace. The certainty. After dinner, Karim took the microphone. "People say love is about timing," he said. "But what if love is about memory? What if it's not about when you meet, but whether you remember each other across time, across pain, across distance?" Amal stood beside him, holding his hand. "We were lost," she said, "but we never really left each other." The room was silent. Then applause. Later, under the stars, an old man from the camp, now living in Toronto, approached them. "You know," he said, "in my village, we have a saying, some souls are sewn together before they are born. War can tear the fabric, but love always finds the thread." Amal and Karim looked at each other and smiled. They knew it was true. Today, they live in Canada. Amal works as a nurse in a clinic for refugees. Karim designs clean water systems for communities in need. They often visit schools, telling their story, not because it's magical, but because it gives people hope. Because in a world full of loss, their love says, you can be broken, you can be scattered, but you can still come home. And sometimes, just sometimes, home is a person you met when you were 2. The payoff. So here's the question. Have you ever felt a connection so strong, you think it might stretch across lifetimes? Or do you believe some people are just meant to find each other, no matter how long it takes? If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs hope. Comment below, what do you believe about love and fate? And if you want more real, powerful stories, like this one, tap to watch the next video. Because sometimes, the most incredible love stories begin in the most impossible places. Thank you so much for watching.